Do you have a fear of failure? Maybe it's a fear that you're not gonna hit that big goal, hit those KPIs, maybe even that your business is gonna succeed. Whatever that fear is, if you fear failure, then I want you to watch this video because I'm gonna show you how you can flip that on its head and how you can actually change from the fear of failure to actually having a mindset of success and a mindset of the true version of failure, which we'll talk about in a second, and how you can actually adopt an always win mindset that's gonna set you up for success in your business and your life in the long run. So first, let's define failure, because I actually have a different definition of failure than you may have. How I define failure is the failure to learn. Most people see failure as hitting an individual KPI, as not reaching a goal, as not hitting a milestone. Maybe there's something that specifically didn't work out the way that they wanted it to. But the way that I would encourage you to see failure is in a different light. I see failure as the failure to learn, not actually learning from what goes right and what goes wrong. Now notice, I didn't just say what goes wrong, it's also a failure if you don't know what went right. And I'd actually really challenge the status quo, and I would say that is more of a failure to have an individual success and not know what made it a success. That's more of a failure than to have something that didn't go well. Maybe you didn't hit your goal or something didn't work out, but you know exactly what went wrong and you can change it next time. Now, when you adopt this mindset, and I call it the marketer's mindset, but this can be applied to business and life, not just marketing. When you adopt this mindset where you're actually learning and the only failure is the failure to learn, then you're gonna see so much more success because you're gonna learn from the things that go great and you're gonna be able to double down on those. And you're also gonna learn from things that don't go as well so you don't have to repeat those mistakes again. I have found that this is the most empowering way to think about failure because you are in control. The only failure that you should fear is the failure to learn. And who controls whether or not you learn? You do. So what I want to dive into is our full marketing mindset and how you can control this fear of failure and flip it on its head. How you can actually make sure that you're in control because you're the one who decides if you learn. So let's dive in to the marketer's mindset. So what is the marketer's mindset? Well, the marketer's mindset is the concept that when you launch any type of test, right, and you're always testing things, whether in marketing, you're testing campaigns, you're testing new videos, you're testing new ideas, new targeting, new headlines, right? In business, you're testing new offers, you're testing new markets, you're testing new ways to scale and grow, right? And obviously there's a lot of things you test in your life as well. But when testing anything, there are two outcomes and both are beneficial to you, right? Instead of looking at whether you win or fail at an outcome, what I like to look at is see the successes as things to double down on, things to grow, and then seeing things that don't work out as well with the test as learning, as education, as knowledge you can use to win next time. Think about it this way. When you're launching an advertising campaign, right? Let's say you're launching a few different campaigns. Some campaigns are gonna see tremendous success. Maybe let's say it's a YouTube ad. That's what we help a lot of our clients do is launch YouTube ads, get leads and sales and consistent people coming in. Let's say you launch a YouTube ad and it gets you 5x returns, 5x ROAS. Right? It performs very well. This is fantastic. What you've done is you've also learned, right? It's not just that success, because success without learning is actually a failure, right? Because if you don't know what made you successful, then you can't repeat it and you can't continue to double down on it. So when you see that success, you've learned that this activity, this particular campaign is successful and you can scale that up. It's got 5x ROAS. Let's put more money into that, right? Every dollar you're putting in produces 5 out. Let's scale up that campaign. But then let's say there's another campaign that you launch and it really just doesn't work. You put $1 in, you get 50 cents out. Maybe the targeting was off, maybe the video was off, maybe there was something wrong. Now the worst thing to do is to keep that running. You don't want to keep something running that's not working. People ask me, well, what if something doesn't work? The thing is, you're launching so many different tests. You have things that work, things that don't work. The way that you don't see success long term is you spend too much time running things that don't work and you don't learn from what does work and you don't scale what does work. So if you see something that doesn't work, let's say you put $1 in, you get 50 cents out, and that's just an example. Obviously, these are using smaller numbers here, but let's say that happens. You could see that as a total failure, or with the marketer's mindset, you could look at that as a lesson learned. You see it as a lesson learned because now you take a look and you say, oh, wait a second, this targeting is completely off. I see why this didn't work because I'm trying to reach these people that are totally different than my ideal customer avatar. And if you want to learn about ideal customer avatars, we're going to have another video on that very soon. But let's say that that wasn't your ideal customer avatar. And then you realize that is why this video failed or this ad campaign failed. And this one's successful because it found how to reach that right person. So you've learned from your successful campaigns and you've learned from your unsuccessful ones. But the other trick is not just to learn, it's to cut weight quickly. So the things that don't work, you trim the fat, you get rid of them quickly. You don't just say, oh, maybe that'll work tomorrow. You say, we're gonna cut that. And then the things that do work well, you double down on that. You continue to scale that up. But it's not just that element, because you probably are used to that, right? You scale up what works, you eliminate what doesn't work. But you also have learned what worked and what didn't work. So now, when you launch your next campaign, you're more likely to create a successful campaign because you could take the knowledge of what worked, right? This targeting, this video. Maybe these are two different videos that you ran, right? Two different hooks, two different intros, and you have these two different hooks and this hook worked and this one didn't. Then the next time you go and create a campaign, let's say you want to target somebody else, use that same hook that worked. You don't use the hook that didn't work. Or with targeting, maybe you want to take a different video and target it in front of that targeting that was working. That way you have another campaign that's successful. So that success is leaving clues. It's leaving clues for you. Now, the other part of the marketer's mindset too is not just to rely on your own expertise. It's also to look at other people that have expertise as well, right? And this is what we do with our clients all the time. We literally have, we've had thousands of clients. We have actively hundreds and hundreds of clients, using YouTube ads. So we've seen it all before, and we also see what works and what doesn't work. And so we can go in and we can say, this is what's working across the board and this is what's not working. So you're not just relying on your own knowledge firsthand, you're also relying on trusted secondhand knowledge, right? So the marketer's mindset is to take what is this knowledge, what have I gained, and then to see it as an always win mindset. Because when a campaign doesn't work, you could shake your fist, you could say, oh man, this is awful, or you could say, I learned a lesson today. I learned that this targeting doesn't work for my offer. I learned that this video doesn't work for my offer. And the next time I run a campaign, I'm gonna run it with the right targeting, with the right video, with the right messaging to the right people. And so using that knowledge that you've learned, that's the marketer's mindset. You can do this again and again. The way I like to visualize this, right? I like to think about it. Let's simplify it a little bit more. Imagine your business as a platform, a big platform, just like this, right? And on this platform, there's all these mystery boxes. Now, there's some weird symbols. You can't make out exactly what they are, but this is a big platform, these mystery boxes. You open these boxes up. They're different sizes, got some symbols on them. You open these boxes up, and some of these boxes have these big helium balloons that attach to your platform. They start pulling your platform up, right? And you want your platform to go up, you want your business to go up, you want your business to have success. The platform is your business. So you open these boxes and there's all these balloons that start coming out. But then you open some other boxes and there's these gigantic anvil weights that go off the side of your platform. They're pulling you down a little bit. So what do? You have some scissors on the platform. You got to cut those weights, right? You got to cut what's pulling you down, what's pulling your platform down, because those weights are going to keep pulling your platform down, whereas the balloons are going to lift you up. They're going to lift you up. And so what you start to notice over time is you start to look at these boxes and you can start to make out a little bit more clearly what the writing is on those boxes, right? And the size of the boxes. Some are more likely to be weights. Some are more likely to be balloons. And so now you've learned more and more and more about what lifts your platform, what lifts your business up. So you're opening more and more of these balloon boxes. Your platform's going higher and higher. And every time you open up a box with a little anvil, you just quickly cut it. You make a mental note. Okay, I'm not going to open that type of box again. You keep opening up more balloon boxes and you keep growing and growing and growing. And it's the same principle, right? It's kind of a funny analogy there, but this is the same principle that you can apply to your business. If you have campaigns, if you have marketing campaigns, you have some that are incredibly successful, you keep doing more and more of that. You scale those up, right? You keep, pumping more helium into those balloons, right? You keep, letting those lift your business up. But then you're noticing, okay, what about these campaigns made them great? Let's launch more like those. Let's take those videos that worked and launch them to new audiences. Let's take those audiences that worked and try them with new videos, try new combinations. And then anytime you see something that doesn't work, you cut it quickly and then you learn from that too. And you learn that type of targeting, that type of video, that just didn't work out for us. And so if you apply this principle again and again, that's how you can see that fast growth and that fast scaling. And that platform being your business, that's the growth that you can have. And that's the growth that you want to have with the marketer's mindset. So adopting this always win mindset is not just about marketing. What I want to talk about too is how you can apply this to your business. So the best part about this is this doesn't just apply to marketing. This applies to your business as well. Think about every time you launch a new test, right? Maybe you're launching a new offer, or you're trying to see if this market is going to work, or you have a new website that you're testing out, or a new funnel that you're building, or maybe what you're doing is you're just trying to see, okay, does this platform work or not? And trust me, I've seen it all before. A lot of people going from Facebook to YouTube because Facebook's become such a red ocean right now, and YouTube is that blue ocean where a lot of people are advertising. So you're learning in different phases. You're learning what doesn't work, you're learning what does work. So you're cutting what doesn't work, and you're honing in on what's working best in your business. Adopting this always win mindset allows you to take a step back, not get emotional when things don't work, and don't over celebrate when things do work, because you've learned and you want to apply that learning. If you celebrate so much when things are going well that you don't actually analyze and pay attention to what worked, then that's a bigger failure than something that didn't work that you learned from. Let me repeat that. If you see a success and you don't pay attention enough to see why it was a success and how you can repeat that success, that is a bigger failure than something that doesn't work that you learned from and you can continue to apply, not just months into the future, but years, possibly far into the future again. If you learn from activities, you learn from what does work and learn from what doesn't work, you adopt this always win mindset, because knowledge is power. You've probably heard that before. It's super cliche, but it really is true. Now imagine if you can amplify this and you could also start masterminding with other people and sharing what works and doesn't work. That's why masterminds are so popular. We have our own inner circle mastermind where we dive in. It's more marketing focused, where we dive into what works and what doesn't work. But there's all kinds of different masterminds out there. Maybe you're part of one right now. And how does that work out well? It's not people just celebrating their successes, right? Or moaning about their failures. It's people that are sharing knowledge. They're sharing what worked and what didn't work. Look at any mastermind out there that's talking about business, and they're sharing what works and what doesn't work. It's the same thing with any other industry. Think about fitness. You learn what works, you learn what doesn't work. If you lose weight, you don't know why you didn't lose weight, you're just gonna gain it back. Versus if you learn and you know, okay, this is what happened, and this is what I need to do, this is what I need to keep doing again and again, then you can apply that principle and you can keep winning and keep seeing that success. Or, if you realize, wait a second, these foods, I feel really bloated after eating these foods. After eating these foods, I feel bad. I gain weight after eating this. Then, don't just say like, oh man, I'm awful because I ate that food. Say, wait a second, I actually learned something really valuable today. And maybe next time, I see that food that I know that, is gonna make me gain weight, I don't eat that, right? And then I do eat these types of foods, or I do these types of workouts that are gonna help me lose weight. Think about this. In every single area of your life, of business, of marketing especially, right? And it's especially apparent in marketing. You have this marketer's mindset. And I found this in marketing, but what I've done is I've applied it to business, I've applied it to life, I've applied it to all areas of myself and seeing what can I improve on. And when you start to look at everything as a chance to see, okay, wait a second, this is a success, this didn't work, right? And I don't like to use the failure word, honestly. The only true failure is giving up or not learning from your mistakes. Giving up and not learning from your mistakes. And the other thing too is we have a saying in our business too, is the biggest mistake, unless it's something that's actually, done on purpose, right? Which obviously that's not tolerated. But the only mistake that's done by accident is a mistake that happens twice. Because you shouldn't make the same mistake twice. Because that means that you didn't learn. That's the failure. The failure is if you didn't learn from your mistakes. And that's the marketer's mindset. But it's also a failure, and not enough people say this. I haven't really seen many people saying it's also a failure if you don't learn from your successes either. So that's why I recommend, taking a look every week, every month, every quarter, whatever it is for you, and journaling. What worked well in my business this last week, this last month, right? What didn't work well? What did I learn? What did I not learn? Keeping yourself accountable and keeping track of that is what's gonna allow you to see that success further into the future. So that's the marketer's mindset. That's what it's all about. It's all about seeing what works, what doesn't work, honing in, doubling down on what works, but also learning from it and saying, how can I replicate this success? How can I do more things like this? Seeing what doesn't work, eliminating it quickly, but also learning from those mistakes, right? Remember, the only failure is the failure to learn, right? The failure to learn from your mistakes. So you see what doesn't work, and then you get rid of that, and you stop focusing on things that don't work, and you focus on the things that do work, and scale that up. And that's the marketer's mindset. And you can apply this to every area of marketing, to business, and to life as well. So hopefully you found this valuable on the marketer's mindset. This is something that I believe so strongly in, and It was really transformational to me when I saw that this doesn't just apply to marketing, because I've been using this in marketing for such a long time, but I saw this also applies to business and life. When I started to apply it to business and life, business started to become more successful and my life started to become better too. And I'm not gonna say I'm perfect, but I'm learning. And that's the point of the marketer's mindset, right? And that's the point of the mindset you need to adopt. So hopefully you found this video valuable. Be sure to subscribe, turn on the notifications. I would love to provide much more value just like this right here on our YouTube channel. We got a lot more incredible content coming, which I'm so excited about. So be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, like the video if you found it valuable. Share this with your friends because I really want to get this message out to more and more people. I'm actually working on a TED Talk about this, the marketer's mindset. And so I really, really deeply believe in it. So get this message out there, share it with other people. Maybe there's friends, business owners they're gonna find this valuable. We've got links down below as well if you're interested in YouTube advertising, growing YouTube channels, seeing success online and in marketing. We have all of our links below to our YouTube Ads Masterclass, to booking a call with one of our advisors. All those links are down there below, and I will see you on the next video.